So you have videos that are edited, paid for, that you made about Mike. I think it would be a very nice gesture to not put out those videos.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Mike is jealous of RFK's tan. And so I'm looking at Mike's video and it says, RFK exposed. Exercise science critiques RFK's controversial health claims. And so I'm gonna watch the video, I'm gonna see. Do I agree with Mike Israetel? What do I think about RFK's health claims? And is RFK natural? We know that he's not. He's on HRT. And how high are his doses and what does he claim to be on? Anyone believe that he's on low doses of HRT? That he's just on bioidentical testosterone replacement? Yeah, right.
RFK has a Googleable net worth of roughly $15 billion. They will not be taking accusatory notions of someone cashing in being a bad thing from a multimillionaire.
And so he's perhaps jealous that RFK almost has as much money as Mike Israetel. And so clearly, Mike is jealous of RFK's tan. And so now that we know that Mike has a bias against RFK, let's get into the video.
Today, I want to talk about the biggest myth of the national obesity epidemic. The biggest myth is that if you're obese or overweight, it's your fault.
It is your fault. Sorry, you want me to say that it's not your fault, that you suffer from a disease called obesity. And so every single human being in this world, no matter what, if you ate less and exercised and or moved more, you would lose weight. And so you don't just suffer from that. I suffer from being a short king. I'm 5'6". No matter what I do, I can go to the gym 5 hours a day. I can eat the best diet in the world. I can pray to God. I can take any medication you could give me. I can't even grow a single freaking inch. Trust me, I've tried. It's not working. And in fact, I'm getting shorter. When I was a teenager in my early 20s, I was 5'6.5". And currently, as I'm pushing 50, that's right, 50 keys of Turk max across the border, well, I'm only a 5'6" manlet. And you, that's right, you, the 3/4 of people watching this video right now, in North America at least, you're obese because you've eaten too much and you haven't moved enough. You want excuses that no, it's your genetics. Well, your genetics makes it harder to lose weight if you have a slow metabolism. You're very hungry. Your ghrelin is through the roof. You're always hungry, but still not an excuse. Where's my cookbook? Do you have it? Do you have my Circle Diet book? Well, many of you do, about 100,000 of you, but what about the rest? The millions of you who are overweight, but not giving two shits about it. And so, yeah, you have horrible genetics. Your parents overfed you as a child. You celebrate with desserts, birthday cakes, and you drink a lot of alcohol. It's on you. You're an adult, and so if you're a kid and you're overweight, I blame your parents. But if you're an adult, I blame you.
There are two big factors that I think account for up to 80% of the entire obesity epidemic. One factor is that some people have a higher than average genetic, mostly, food drive.
And so Mike Israetel says the main two things that cause obesity is food drive, aka that's what I'm saying when you're hungry because you have a lot of ghrelin. If you're always hungry, it's going to be harder for you to stay on a diet, obviously. Now, these things can be impacted by drugs. For example, he describes Ozempic, GLP-1s, and so on. And so, for example, if you didn't want to take a drug, you could take GLP Max. It's going to reduce your cravings, going to decrease your hunger, perhaps by 28%. And so if you're, for example, an 8 on 10 hungry with GLP Max, you'll be a 6 on 10 hungry. It makes it easier to stick to a diet. But of course, if you eat lots of fruits and vegetables, things that are high in fiber, lots of protein that's more satiating, and you eat from my cookbook, of course it's easier. But not only is that, it's also the level of conscientiousness that you have. And what does that mean? It's, do you give a shit about your own life? I give a shit about. And so if I wake up and I'm tired, I'm overworked, I'm busy, I still go and do cardio. Other people, they're tired, they take a nap. I'm racing bikes. I'm conscientious. When I go to a restaurant, instead of ordering all the desserts on the menu, I might eat only one. Instead of eating ice cream for Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's, I'm using my Ninja Creamy or my Ninja Blender, and I'm making a lower calorie ice cream. Because I'm conscientious. I care about being in shape. If you're not conscientious, you just eat whatever you want. You don't give a shit. You don't plan for tomorrow. You're about being happy right now. And so if you think that obesity is a disease, that you can't do anything about it, you've taken your power away. I guarantee it. If I jumped into your body, we traded bodies right now, your body in a year from now would be amazing compared to it is right now, and mine would go to shit. And why? Because I'm conscientious, I'm doing the cardio, and I'm eating healthy. And so stop making excuses.
Today, 3/4 of American adults are obese or overweight, including 40% of American teenagers.
And so think of it, 40% of teenagers and 3/4 of adults. 3/4. But yet people get mad at me when I say that other people are obese, when they ask me the question. And so one of the reasons I blame is because of body positivity. You can't say anything bad about anyone, even if they ask you. Case in point.
Today we have Zoe sharing this caption: a woman over 80 kg must be fat, and then goes on to say, do I look fat? Well, I honestly don't think you look fat.
And so there's the problem. He's a simp.
Yes, I'm a simp.
Madonna delle cosce e delle mutandine.
Do I look fat? She weighs 83 kilograms. She almost weighs exactly what I weigh. And she's wearing a corset to keep her fat at bay. And the question was, do I look good? It wasn't, am I pretty? Am I beautiful? The question was, am I a fat person or not? Fat to me equals obese. JFK said 3/4 of Americans, North America and so on, are overweight and are obese. And so, do I look fat? Does she look skinnier than 3/4 of the population? I don't think so. And so by definition, I'm right. And so what do I get for answering her question honestly? I get hate. Let's go to the comments.
But the maggots, on the other hand, the maggots thought something else. Let's see the comments. Well, Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. Yes. How would you pronounce your last name again? I don't want to be mispronouncing it.
Greg Doucette. And so my post, it got a lot of traction. I wrote, when someone asks you a question, I think it's okay to give an honest answer. For example, if someone said, do I look like I'm on steroids? And you think that that person does, you could say yes. And so what's entertaining for me is that people think it's okay for him to bully, and mostly men, but it's not okay for us to answer women's questions. And so why do you think there's an obesity epidemic? It's because we allow it. We encourage it. We, for example, like JFK, say, it's a disease. It's not your fault. And if someone asks you if they're obese, even if they weigh 185 pounds as a female, and they're in fact very much overweight, and by definition they are obese, if you say yes, then you're a cunt. This is what he says. So he responds with, fair point, let's try it out. Does anyone think Greg is a... And so, may I point out that she posted this same video 10 times because it's rage bait, because she wants to get a lot of views, and it worked. I think it got 18 million. And so you now understand my point. Why obesity has been glorified. That's right, it's glorified. And so if somebody's overweight and says, do I look fat? We now have to say, no, dear, you're so beautiful, you're pretty. Obese and beautiful are not the same question. Do I look ugly? Yes, Greg, you're short. I didn't ask if I was tall or short. I asked if I was ugly. You can say yes, you can say no. Depends on what you think. But if you start talking about my height in relevance to my appearance as being ugly or beautiful, it's not the same question. And so you can in fact be overweight, but still look beautiful. This is not what I'm arguing, but I'm fighting the good fight. I'm trying to change the world. And if being honest is not part of that, then keep it coming. Keep insulting Coach Greg. But I'm gonna keep...
Proteggi questi sogni.
I'm not a freaking simp Like this guy. Oh, I think you're so beautiful. He probably wants to get in her backside. I honestly don't think you look fat. It's like, come on, simp.
Back when I was growing up, childhood obesity was almost unheard of.
And so this guy, he's so old that when he was growing up, the obesity thing, it wasn't really a thing. Well, listen, he's 68. I'm 49. 79! And so way back in the day, do you know what they didn't have? Phones, TV, social media, the internet. And so what do you think has happened? People sit around and watch TV, watch their phones, and type. This is the exercise they're getting, mostly with their thumbs. When I was a kid, we went out and played. We ran around. We moved. And not only that, if you look at grocery stores, convenience stores, and so on, there's so much more readily available, highly palatable foods, high in sugar, high in fat, that tastes amazing. It's cheap. Any store you can go to, you get your chips, your pop. And so because of the availability of junk food and our lack of exercise and movement, people are now getting fat. It's that simple.
What they're ignoring is a food supply that's loaded with high fructose corn syrup.
And so, yes, there's a food supply with a lot of high fructose corn syrup.
It's cold. A big open up.
Sono delle cosce delle
And guess what? You don't have to consume it. Do you know what else they sell? Cigarettes. Cigarettes have nicotine. This can cause cancer. It's a class 1 carcinogenic. Do you know what else is a class 1 carcinogenic? Alcohol. Do you need to consume it? No. And so am I going to blame the United States, Canada, the government, and so on for your obesity? You have the choice to buy it. And so when you go to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and you buy a regular pop and make it a size large, it's on you. The high fructose corn syrup, the extra calories, the sugar. You could have got Diet Pop, you could have drank water, you could have made a different selection. And so how are we going to blame it on high fructose corn syrup when you're the one consuming it? When I was a kid, I would drink Kool-Aid and I would make it myself. I'd open up that grape Kool-Aid package, pour it inside, and then take 2 cups of sugar and pour it, mix it, and drink it. And I'd go outside and run again. Did I get fat? Nope. Why? Because I burnt those calories off. But if you don't want to get fat and you're not running around as much, and you don't need those sugar calories, you're not racing bikes, why would you drink it? It makes no sense. Now, if you're a competitive cyclist like the guys on my bike team, they burn off 1,000 calories per hour. Bro last week rode 19 hours and burned off 20,000 calories. Do you think he's worried about sugar? They are literally in the chat talking about how can I consume more calories during my bike race? I need more sugar. They're trying to figure out a way to consume more. You don't race bikes with Coach Greg, and so you need to figure out a way to consume less. It's not the government's fault. It's not your genetics. It's you.
And seed oils.
Scott, hurt me. I got to feel.
That's your trigger.
There's my trigger.
And seed oils. I have the same trigger as Mike Israetel. Guys, shut up. Stop blaming the stupidest reasons for your obesity. Oh, it's seed oils. Oh, it's pesticides. It's the fact you're eating too many calories. Calories in, calories out. Whether it's from seed oils, from regular oils, from carbs, proteins, you name it, if you eat too much of it, you're going to get fat.
But the idea that pesticides are causing mass health maladies and are somehow related to obesity is just a non-starter.
And so the pesticides is not the problem. That's not what's making you fat. And so if you switch from eating organic strawberries to regular strawberries, blueberries, it's not going to make any difference. The pesticides they use to allow crops to have greater yield, to make more profits and so on, it's not causing you to get fat. There's no magic switch that once you consume said pesticides, suddenly your body is a fat storing machine. It's bullshit. It's not actually true.
Notice RFK's thing is removing things. We remove the seed oils, we remove the artificial ingredient, we remove the pesticides, and all of a sudden we're going to really make a huge dent on the obesity epidemic. Bullshit.
And so what RFK is trying to do with removing seed oils, pesticides, all these things, it's not going to make a big difference. The only way to make a difference is for people to eat less calories and to burn more of them off. That's how you do it. People who watch my videos and I say, go and do 150 minutes of cardio a week. Put the fork down. Have lower calorie meals. That is how you change things. And until next time, I am out.